when they were calling parents domestic terrorists.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of parents have been targeted over the last few years for
Yes.
speaking up. They've lost their jobs. They've been defamed online, their reputation. Some have been arrested. They've got criminal records. A litany of things have happened, and we have had parents in our group who have suffered from the weaponization of the last administration against parents.
Yes.
So we want to find restitution for them.
Okay.
So we're working on an executive order with the Trump's administration.
Hey, we're back at the podcast booth here, and we got a really amazing, awesome guest. And we have Seak, what's your last name again?
Smith.
Seak Smith. All right, yes, this is so awesome. So we're at the Rev 17 Destroying the War of Babylon conference, and we did it.
Yep. We did it.
We raised more than $2 million this weekend for the Peace of Heaven Children's Paradise.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, I had a little heads up on the news this morning, and I had to keep it quiet because I knew it was going to get announced on stage. But it's amazing when we all can come together for one mission. You know? And this mission is to help heal, broken children who has gone through hell and back.
Yeah.
And unfortunately in this country, we don't have many of these centers. We have very few of these centers for a lot of different reasons. A lot of this work in safe houses and healing centers are done around the world in other countries, but we have a lot of limitations to doing that work here. So we want to change that. We want to make sure that Peace of Heaven becomes the motto and it becomes a template.
Amen.
And it sweeps across the country, and other states will be doing the same.
Right.
Yeah.
So I saw on the slide in the main room, this is the largest
Facility.
healing center for trafficked children in the U.S. history.
Yeah.
Wow.
Something I remember, because we worked on my friend Simon worked on the video for Peace of Heaven, but the statistic is something like only 700 beds are available for trafficked children, minors, in the entire country.
No way.
And we're talking about tens of thousands. We don't know the number.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, the statistic is very, very dire. Only 1% of traffic victims ever get rescued.
Yeah.
1%.
Oh my gosh.
But that
Okay.
1%, we only have 700 beds
Oh my
in
God.
this country for healing and for restoration and for rebuilding lives.
That's a huge need.
And we're talking about thousands of children
Yes.
who need homes, who need restoration, who need safety, healing.
And a lot of times they go right back into the system that has, that could traffic them again, which is, the foster care system.
Right.
CPS.
Yeah, those. It's not a good place to be when you're a kid, right?
No. Yeah.
So,
Okay, since you haven't been on here, can you introduce yourself to
Sure.
our audience?
Yes. So my name is Seak Smith. I am the founder of Mom and Dad Army.
Yeah.
We are an organization with leaders across the country to stop the war on children.
There you go.
And that's basically to protect children and their innocence. And sadly, that umbrella is really big. We're talking, sexual abuse, trafficking of children, grooming of children,
Right.
the gender ideology stuff that's, mutilating and sterilizing children. So anything that we could do to help push policy. So we work in the policy area with legislators to back bills, support bills that protect children, victims and survivors, and go after predators.
Right.
We do nationwide rallies. We do a lot of different things.
Yes.
We want to be part of the solution to the huge problem. What I call the real pandemic is the trauma that is being inflicted on children throughout time.
Yeah.
And we have to change that
We
because
do.
we're not going to. If we have traumatized children that don't get healed, we have broken adults walking amongst us all over.
You're right.
And those are the issues that we're dealing with, drug addiction, suicide, mental health issues, all stem from childhood adverse traumas.
You're right. Absolutely.
so what got you started?
15 years ago, I was driving home when I was living in LA, listening to talk radio. And I'll just share the gist of the story. But out of Trenton, New Jersey, there was a case going through the sentencing phase. And essentially, it was a 9-year-old girl who was sold for $100 by her 15-year-old stepsister to 5 men.
Whoa, no
Wow.
way.
And that was the first time I had ever heard the term human trafficking.
Yeah.
So it shattered my heart. I mean, it just broke my heart into a million pieces. I was crying uncontrollably. I drive into my garage. I walk into the kitchen. My husband's there. Of course, he was worried. And I said, I'm fine. I just heard a really horrible story. And that was the moment when I said to him, I can't unhear this. I can't unfeel this. I have to do something. So that set me on the course to research and go online and figure out, what is human trafficking? What is this all about? Who's fighting this? How can I get involved? And then my background, my background was in marketing, PR, event planning.
Yeah.
So I found an organization with a woman who was running rehabilitation centers in Cambodia.
Okay.
And I happen to be Cambodian. My dad escaped genocide and communism in Cambodia in the 70s. And so we immigrated here as refugees. But because she was Cambodian, I had a immediate connection to her and what she was doing in my home country. And back then I thought this was like a third world problem.
Right.
Didn't even think of it as a U.S. problem. Although the story I heard was out of Trenton, New Jersey, I was still in my head thinking, this doesn't really happen here. It happens because families are poor, they're selling their children, that it was an economic problem. In my naive little head back then, 15 years ago, when I was just learning about this issue. And so that's how it kind of started. It activated me, and I've been very fervent about, sharing, this issue with people, talking to people, raising money. I did fundraisers with the organization, got to know Somali really, she became a friend. She still is. She's still rescuing girls in Cambodia and rebuilding their lives.
Amen.
So that's how it got started, but it's morphed into a whole bunch of different things since then.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. From hearing something on the radio, and it seems like, by the way, some of your rallies has gotten my church in trouble. But that's okay. It's a good price to pay, you know what I mean? But you heard something on the radio and you decided to do something about it. And it seems like everybody here at this conference, whether they're on stage or they're doing podcasts or they're media or they're just regular attendees, they all decided to do something.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So, man, hats off to you. What's the next step in the Peace of Heaven facility?
Yeah. So I am very fortunate. I'm very honored and humble that I also sit on the board of Peace of Heaven. Pastor Dave asked me not that long ago at our Mom Army Summit and Gala that we had in Phoenix back in May.
Oh, okay.
So I had no idea that I was even being considered. And so I said yes immediately.
Yeah.
There was no hesitation. Didn't even know what the role entailed. But I said, whatever I can do to help make this become reality.
Yeah. Wow.
And so we actually had, board meetings, but, with the funds being raised, it's a huge undertaking of a project.
Yeah.
Massive. Nothing like this has not been done in this country before.
Right.
To try and build a facility that can house up to 200 children.
Yeah.
And we're talking some of the worst cases of trafficking, right? So how do we take that child, who has been traumatized in the worst ways possible, the most violent things done to that child, and rebuild them to become whole again?
Yeah, definitely.
And give them hope and give them a future, and a joyful life that they can go into, right? That's going to take a lot of people, a lot of loving, caring people, experts in so many different areas, experts in all the different healing modalities, and it's Christ-centered.
Yes. Yes.
And so we're going to need a lot of help, I've already have friends who are different, I have a friend who is a classically trained ballerina from Brazil. She does movement and dance therapy with autistic children and special needs children. She's been doing that for a very long time. she said to me, how can I help with Piece of Heaven?
Okay.
Right. I have a friend who's a certified art therapist. She paints murals and does painting classes all over Phoenix. She wants to know how she can help.
I love that.
My friend is an interior designer. She's like, how can I help? So I'm giving examples. There is so many ways that people can help. If you have a heart for this issue and a heart for children, and you are committed
Yes.
to the work, because it's not going to be easy, we're going to need it. We're going to need an army.
Yeah.
200 kids, it's a lot of kids and for one facility, but we're going to need like one-on-one care, one-on-one
Right.
attention, one-on-one loving on them.
Yes.
You know, like Pastor Dave says, we're going to need moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas who can love on these kids, you know.
Definitely.
So yeah, we all have gifts, we all have talents and skill sets, you know, that God has given each and every one of us. And how do we serve?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a huge undertaking, and you're right. We need everybody who has something to give to be able to give.
Yeah.
So, what's the next thing on your plate? I know you're part of different organizations, and I love the Mom Army and Dad Army organization. Just fun times with you guys. You know. So after this conference, what are your plans?
Well, the next immediate plan is I am going to stay in town for another week to do the ARC training that Tina
And Buzz? Okay.
So because I said on the board, I think it's going to be crucial that I get the certification and the training to understand what it looks like moving forward and what my role will be. So I'm excited for that, to learn more and really deep dive in this space. For me personally, for the future, I mean, Mom Army and Dad Army is growing.
Yeah.
We have shifted a little bit to become an organization of leaders building leaders. We realize as often as we go to speak and testify at school boards against some of the craziness that's happening there, testifying at capitals on bill to support bills and oppose bills, we can do this till we're blue in the face.
Sure.
If we don't have the right people in these seats that are making these decisions on our behalf.
Correct.
So one of the things that we want to do at Mom and Dad Army is to identify leaders, build them, train them, and then get people ready to run for office. Because we need good people in these seats if we're going to, especially here in California. If we're going to take back California, I'm a part of a bunch of different coalitions that are trying to take back California. We need to be very strategic. We need to be smart. We need to really think about what is the most effective way to do this, right? If we have the wrong people in these seats, in these positions, we will be in the same position 10 years from now, complaining about why are the laws the way they are? Why are they going after our children? Why is this not changing? We have to have people be courageous, be willing to sacrifice, and rise up, to take some of these seats at every level, from city council, school board, to state legislators, to, national. But we want to be a part of that solution. So that's one portion.
Amazing.
I'm also part of the team behind Parents Demanding Justice Alliance. So we are actually going to DC in a couple of weeks for a press conference because of the targeting of parents from the last administration, the DOJ and Merrick Garland, when they were calling parents domestic terrorists. So a lot of parents have been targeted over the last few years for speaking up. They've lost their jobs. They've been defamed online, their reputation. Some have been arrested. They've got criminal records. A litany of things have happened, and we have had parents in our group who have suffered from the weaponization of the last administration against parents. So we want to find restitution for them. So we're working on an executive order with the Trump's administration. To remedy what the last administration did to these parents. And we want to restore what has been taken away from them.
So what does that look like restitution for the parents? Because if they lost their job, that would be like a monetary restitution?
We are looking at monetary compensation.
What about reputation? How do you
I
fix that?
personally, I mean, we've talked about it as a group, and we're trying to find what this executive order is going to look like.
Yeah.
But there should be a public apology
Okay, that's
for
good.
going after parents. Merrick Garland should be, rescinding. He had to rescind that letter. But and then online, people. I mean, we have a dad in our group who had a hit piece written about him in the LA Times.
Yeah.
We want LA Times to retract that story.
Nice.
So
nice.
it could
Hey,
look.
add me on there.
Yeah. It could,
Vice
seriously.
News. Yeah, add me on there. Yeah.
No, absolutely. We are actually collecting testimonies right now.
Okay.
I'll send you the link.
All right.
Because we need to show that this was a pattern across the country, that it wasn't a one-off, that thousands of people have been impacted and being targeted by our government. So I'm part of that. I sit on a couple other boards. I sit on the board of Young Americans Against Socialism because my dad escaped communism.
Amen.
I am very passionate about educating people about the tenets of communism and how destructive the ideology is. 2 million people died in Cambodia.
Yes.
25% of the population. My dad lost a majority of his family.
Wow.
And so we see tenets of communism all over the United States.
Yes, absolutely.
And we better be very careful what path we're going down, because there's no turning back once you go down the communism route.
You can't go full communism and come back.
No, you can't come back from
Because
that.
it destroys nations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
50 years later, Cambodia is still reeling from the ramifications.
Wow.
Families are still broken, have not. There's a TV show in Cambodia reuniting families 40, 50 years later.
Wow.
Because the war had separated them.
Wow.
So people have to understand, you don't recover from communism and genocide. It affects generations.
Yeah.
So I'm in a lot of things.
That's cool.
Yeah,
So
but
that organization is for young people? You were saying?
it's called Young Americans Against Socialism. It was started by Morgan Zegers.
Okay.
And she was going around speaking to young people and trying to educate college kids about this. So I'm proud to be
That's
part
a
of that.
passion of mine, like college kids. So if you need my help in that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I hate communism.
Yeah, me too. I will stand on the stump to speak about that wherever I can. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm so amazed. I mean, it seems like you're so, I mean, you guys know each other, but just in meeting you seem so gifted
Thank you.
at building an army
Yeah.
and mobilizing people.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I've learned about myself is I love to hear people's stories. I love to hear about their overcoming and how they survived. And I mean, we all have a story behind us. So I'm just interested in people. And then once I hear your story, I'm like, how can I help?
Yeah, and it sounds, you like place people where...
Yeah. I love connecting people.
Yes.
That's
You're
the
good.
gift God has given me, is to connect people in the most magical way, is the best way I could put it. Because if I see this, I'm always like, you two need to know each other.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And let's see magic happen,
Yeah.
So I'm a coalition builder. I love putting people together. I love building bridges. I think the hardest part about our movement and us just getting started in our activism, because the left has been doing it forever. They get paid to do it.
Right.
We don't. We're all
we
broke
don't.
doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I will say, one of the biggest challenge is that we're also independent thinking and minded, which is wonderful. That's a good trait to have. We're not a monolith. We're not groupthink like the left is. That also brings some challenges. It's hard for us to work together because we're so independent.
Yes.
So I strive to build coalitions to work together.
Okay.
So, like with Mom Army, we partner with Jamie, my friend Jamie from Gays Against Groomers. She's the founder. She actually designed our logo for us.
Oh, cool.
We have an advisory council with some really amazing people that's in the fight, to protect children. My friend Ryan Heath, who is a lawyer in Scottsdale, and he has the Gavel Project is his organization. So I'm all about building coalition. The recent thing that I've done is trying to bring the mom groups together.
Okay.
So in Arizona, I started a loose group put together called the Arizona Women Leaders Coalition.
Okay.
So it's the leader of Moms for Liberty in Arizona, my friend Tatiana,
Okay.
Myra from Moms for America, my friend Christy from Independent Women's Network, Maha, Make America Healthy Again, my friend Paula, my friend Kim Miller from Arizona Women of Action. But the goal is that we're constantly connecting, sharing information, promoting things. If one
Yeah.
group's doing something, let's all share that.
Let's all share
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Let's
so
all
good.
mobilize people together, because at the end of the day, we all want a better future for our kids and our families,
Yes.
and freedom, and to preserve our freedoms. So it's important that we all work together. So I really strive for that.
I love that.
That's awesome.
And you pinpointed the one thing that is a real hamper in our movement. It is true. We're critical thinkers. We're independent, and so we do have trouble,
Coming together.
doing joint ventures, because we're all smart and we all have different ideas.
Different opinions, different ideas,
Yeah.
different ways to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a big challenge. Yeah.
I'm praying the Holy Spirit give you supernatural wisdom when making these coalitions, because that's the only way we could overcome that type of stumbling block.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then give us, because you're a gatherer of leaders. You gather leaders together, and so I'm praying that not only that happens, but just a sense of unity, and we're actually serving the King. Like, we're not our own little kings.
Yeah. It's not
We're
about
serving
us.
The King.
Yeah. None
Yeah.
of this is about us.
Yeah.
We
So,
have
yeah.
we have a lot. There's a lot of things that are wrong. And I worry for our country. I worry for my kids. I worry for my future grandkids.
Yeah.
What is what is this country gonna look like for them?
Yes.
There's so many challenges, but we have to start in the home, right?
Right.
We have to build really strong foundations in our homes.
Yes.
And our kids, I always liken to, we need to raise warriors. And those warriors go out into the world and they become leaders and they become influence in their friend circle.
Correct.
And then that's how we're going to do it. It's a long game, but that's how we're
Yeah.
going to do it. So that's crucial to how we do this.
Yeah.
And we need to raise kids who stand firm in their truth.
Yes.
Kids who are courageous,
Yeah.
who don't fold to conformity.
Yes, that's
who
right.
who will be bold and brave, and do what's right even when nobody's watching.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. This is so exciting, to think, like, there's people like you, really, you're like an architect, basically, like you see the 30,000 foot view, and you know who can be with who, and this person with that project, and you're a real gem in the movement.
Oh,
it's
thank
really,
you.
It's really good to have you.
It's been such a privilege. I've met, God has, I said on my speech on stage yesterday, and I really meant it, God has orchestrated so divinely where he has placed people in my life and opportunities for me to even be on stage.
Yeah,
It was
of
such an
course.
honor to even speak amongst some of the giants who've been fighting this issue for a long time. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been fighting it in my own little way for a long time too,
Sure.
15 years. I remember getting, when the issue first came on my radar, a lot of people looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah.
One, they didn't believe it. This is
Yeah.
not happening. You're making this up. This sounds crazy. And I'm like, no, this is really happening.
Yes.
And then the other side were people who just didn't want to hear it. It was too much. It was too heavy.
Much, yeah.
So it was either they didn't want to hear it or they didn't believe it.
Yeah.
And only recently in the last few years are people becoming more and more aware and more believing that whatever you know about trafficking, it's worse than you know.
It's worse than, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
I always say that if the whole world finds out what has actually been happening, the whole world would need therapy. They would be so traumatized.
Yeah.
Because the truth of the matter of what's been going on is so dark and so the depravity, the level of depravity, and the crimes that have been committed against children and humanity is so awful. I don't think people could really, really recover from understanding what has really been going on.
Yeah.
I've been getting it little by little over 15 years. If someone is just now coming to this issue and we dump on them all the stuff that's been happening to children, it would be a shock to their system, to their, And so I say that because that tsunami of information that is going to be an onslaught, it's going to be a lot.
Yeah.
We're finding out more and more stuff is being exposed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems to me it's entrenched in our own government.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it's dangerous waters, but I think God created us to go through these types of waters.
Yeah. If this, it's the time, right? We were made for such a time as this.
Yes.
We were all created for this moment in this period in history. So what are we going to do with that responsibility?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow, Seek. Oh, man, that time is going by fast.
Yeah.
But we want to thank you for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
We did save the best for last. So
We have an exclusive interview with you today.
Thank you. And
we
actually,
both did.
this is the only interview I did this whole entire weekend.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm on the board and I'm on the executive team, and so I've been busy behind the
Yeah.
scenes with this event, helping plan a lot of the parts of this event.
Yeah.
So I just haven't had time to sit down and actually do any of the podcasts.
Yeah.
So this is the only one.
Wow.
We're honored. We're so honored.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
So just tell the audience where they can reach you online.
Yeah, so go to our website. It's we're still in reconstruction and kind of updating our website, but it's mom-army.com. You can find us on Instagram mostly. It's the.momarmy, the.dadarmy. DM us. We really are looking for people who are already in the fight and who feel called to be part of something like this. If you have a stronger calling in terms of what you want to do to get involved, you're made for Mom Army and Dad Army. We have an incredible group of leaders across the country doing amazing things. But yeah, DM us. That's the best way to reach us, is DM us on Instagram. And then, and email us on our website.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Well, I hope you guys check it out if you're into wanting to lead the way in this fight for children. With that said, we'll see you guys later. Godspeed and God
you.
bless. Bye. All right, perfect. Cut.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you
That was good, of course.
That was super good.
Yeah, I was like, I said I was going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm glad you guys didn't pack up yet. I was like,